Okay, for the next session of our event, please everybody settle down. Our guest is already here. So, welcome back everyone. You all seem really happy after having food. खाना अच्छा था? खाया? बस सो मत जाना अब. Energy maintain करके रखोगे? Yes, that's the spirit. So, shh, everybody please. Thank you. Are you ready to pump your minds with more ideas about innovation? Then we have a special talk titled Changing the Game, Navigating the Landscape of Emerging Innovations, that aims to delve deep into the dynamic and rapidly evolving world of technologies and innovations. This engaging session is going to explore how groundbreaking advancements across various fields like reshaping industries, societies, and individual lives lie today. And how are these changes going to impact the future as well? I would like to call upon stage Mr. Rohan Shah, founder and CEO of Hedwig Innovations Private Limited. A huge round of applause, please. I'd now request Ms. Pooja Roth to felicitate Mr. Rohan Shah. And relieving me from a little bit of my duties, Temi is back. Over to you, Temi, for Rohan Sharma's introduction. Huge round of applause for Temi, please.
Experience design and innovation initiatives and help them to take an edge in this disruptive time. Currently, Rohan is working with Atlantic Council, a U.S.-based think tank on designing global AL policy making with U.S. federal state government, UN, and other union countries. He has conducted design process workshop for policy making for Gov of Asian countries and African countries. Rohan has started his design journey with Apple Computers and was the part of the first iPhone design team. Later, he has consulted AT&T, Adobe, Taleo, U.S. federal government and many more Fortune 500 clients.
Okay, thank you everyone, and thank you very much for having me today. As I said, my name is Rohan, and once again, good afternoon. Okay, I want some energy, please. Okay, so this is going to be a very I'm trying to put a lot of experiences today, and with that, I want to start with one of the experience I recently had. So I was reading one article, I was reading a blog online a couple of, I think maybe a few days ago. And I came across the technology where the drone is now able to plant trees across the vast landscape. I also read that there is an app created that can translate the barks of dogs. So you can communicate seamlessly with dogs. It's crazy, right? Crazy how the technology is shaping today, right? But it's not about, so innovation is not about these fancy gadgets or fancy apps that we make. It's about how we are reshaping the world, how we are transacting our day-to-day experience with this world, how our existence is defined today. And that everything has a reason behind it. Everything that is happening today, there is an insight, there is a pattern behind it. And before we understand how do we navigate this fast-paced, changing world, I want to deep dive into a little bit of a history. Don't worry, don't worry, I'm not going to go to Stone Age. So, but I'm just going to go rewind a little, okay? I remember when I was in a college, there was a flip phone. We had a flip phone, right? I'm not too sure. I think you have started with the smartphones, but we started with the flip phone. And that was the fanciest gadget for me. It was like, oh my God, what technology. And when I was in a college, we used to have that modem which we connect to the internet, the dial-up. And that the music, when the internet gets connected, wala music, it was a music to my ears, like, yay, my internet got connected. But those innovations today were the reason where we are. Okay, it played its very important role in shaping what we are today, where we are today, what we have today, how do we communicate and interact with the world today. Isn't that? Think about the innovation of a wheel. It's a very, if you think about this, okay, imagine what if we don't have wheels? What if we don't have wheels? It's seemingly simple innovation, but it's laid the foundation of the future of transportation. Today, the fanciest sports cars or a supercar we drive, that was the result of that seemingly simple innovation of a wheel. Moving forward, think about electricity, innovation of electricity. Imagine the world where as soon as the sun sets, there is a darkness. There is nothing. And just with the one flip, the whole city lights up. That one switch laid the foundation of all the gadgets, all the fancy technology, all the EV cars we are talking about, that we are using. That one innovation of electricity has laid the foundation. Moving forward, think about internet. Can you imagine a day? What happens if I take away internet from you just for 24 hours? You'll go crazy. You will feel that my world has fallen apart. I have no one to communicate to. Isn't it right? Now think about this. Innovations are not about these fancy things or cool stuff invented. It's about the solution. Wheel was a solution of how we commute. Internet, electricity is the solution of the darkness, of the manual labor, of the how we interact the day-to-day transactions. Internet is a solution how we communicate, how the world communicate with each other seamlessly, isn't it? Right? So every innovation lays the foundation for the future. Everything what our past innovators have done has made our life better. And this is exactly what our responsibility as well, that we have to lay foundation for our future, so the future generation, our future generation, have way better life than what we are today. Fair enough? Now coming to from the past, let's come to the present. Okay. Have you heard about the startup called Cruise? Anyone? Cruise? Okay. Cruise is one of the startups started. It's started in the city of San Francisco. It was the first city which has this product up and running. It's nothing but the self-driving Ubers. Okay. So I'll tell you what happens. Let me experience you. So okay, here is my phone. Okay. If I want to go somewhere, just like an Uber app, I open the Cruise app. I order a car, I book a car comes to wherever I have using this GPS navigation system and the maps. It's a self-driving car. Now self-driving car is already available. Google is building self-driving cars, right? Tesla has a self-driving mode. So the technology is already there, right? Cruise is nothing but I'm ordering it. The car comes to where my location says. With an authentication, I ensure that I am the one who ordered the car. I get in the car. I enter my destination. It drops me there. I get out, and it takes money from my account using a UPI or Google Pay or Apple Pay, whatever they have. Isn't it amazing? What they have done. Did they do something different? All they have is connected what is available. Self-driving car, innovated independently. Uber, separate. GPS navigation system came in isolation. UPI technology or payment gateways, automatic payment from this. All they have done is seemingly interconnected this technology and come up with a better application to make the life of humans, the life of people, much better. I always say that innovation is something can be adapted, amazingly adapted, only for 3 reasons. If innovation brings convenience to people, if innovation brings mobility to people, or an accessibility to people. Now think about that every successful startup or an innovative startup has these 3 points seamlessly integrated. Okay. Giving you an example of an Uber again. Does Uber brings convenience to you? Does Uber brings convenience to you? Does it have a mobility? You can order it from anywhere. Does it give you an accessibility to every place? Okay. Is it successful? Okay. Taking another example. Swiggy. Does it bring convenience to your life? Is it mobile? Can you order from anywhere? Is it give you an accessibility to every restaurant in the city? Okay. Is it successful? Okay. YouTube. Convenience, accessibility, mobility. There you go. Social media. Convenience, mobility, accessibility. There you go. We all use it. Okay. So sometimes future is all about how we collaborate each other. And you know what is the best part of the future is? The best part of the future of the innovation rather is it's very democratic. It's no longer controlled by the large organizations. All it takes is a teenager, or all it takes is you sitting in a room anywhere and start coding, because it's available freely. Open source technologies is available. All it requires is you being curious that, oh my God, how can I make this happen? Or, oh my God, there is a problem, and how can I solve this problem? And once you start looking at that problem and simply start coding. You don't require the large organization no longer can dictate this world. It's very democratic. Every one of us has a power to innovate. Every one of us has a resources to innovate. Isn't it? Yeah? So we talked about the past, we talked about the present, we talked about the future. Now let me give you a little bit about the future before I get to the navigation part of the future. The future is not something happens to us. The future is something that we create. Okay, we don't predict the future. Future cannot be predicted. Okay, we are innovators, we are not astrologers. Fair enough? We don't predict future. What we do is we imagine the future. The futurist, the innovator, imagine the scenario. Like for example, let's take an example of an Elon Musk. Elon Musk didn't say that the world will go to Mars in next 5 years or 10 years. He said, I want to go to Mars by 2025. And then he worked reverse. He imagined the future. He did not predict. Okay? It takes courage to have the wild imagination. All it requires is what? Wild imagination. How many times we have imagined, or how many times हम लोग वो सपनों की दुनिया में चले जाते हैं कभी कभी, right? That, oh, what if I have this? What if I have, what the world will be like? Or what if I have a robot who does all the chores, daily chores or something like that, right? We imagine all this crazy stuff, but do we act upon it? No. Then we wake up and then says, okay, get back to reality. Isn't it? But the moment we start says like, oh my God, this is amazing. This scenario, what if I can make this scenario happen in real? And then you start working towards it. That's the future we have to build. We have to lay foundation for our future generations. Innovations is not about inventing new stuff at times. Innovation is all about connecting different technologies, putting it together and solving a phenomenal problem and make the human life better. That's also a great innovation. Fair? Okay. Did you understand? All right, there you go. Okay, now how do we change this? How do we change this? Or now let's do how to navigate this change. What do we need to have in us? Okay, so I'll tell you one very, very beautiful story which I really love. I always use this story very often. So some of you might have heard me before. They might have listened to this story, but this story is about the Hollywood star Robert De Niro. How many of you have heard this name, Robert De Niro? Every one of us, most of us, yeah. Do you know his story? How he started his journey? Okay. So Robert De Niro was also a struggling actor like any other in his early days of a career. He was going every day, knocking every director's doors, and I need for the auditions, right? He gave probably around more than 150 auditions in 2 years and did not get a single assignment, single role. So he said, you know what? It's not me. There are thousands of other struggling actors like me knocking the director's doors every day. I need to do something. This is not how I'm going to get the opportunity. And what he did was, instead of knocking the doors of directors, he started going to library and reading books. His friend says, what are you doing? Go, you have to work hard. You have to go to directors, knock the doors. Things does not happen easily. I said, I know what am I doing. And he started reading books. And he came across a book called Raging Bull. It was one of the fantastic, he got fascinated about the story of a raging bull. And he said, you know what? I want to make the movie of this book. And instead of chasing directors, he started chasing producers. Now, he was the only guy who was chasing producers. Okay. In a couple of months, he found a producer who is ready. Okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to direct this film. But I have a condition. I will choose the director. Robert De Niro says, no problem. As long as, but I am going to play the role of the main character. Now, the story, I'll give you a little bit about the story. The Raging Bull was a story of a boxer, the boxer named Jake LaMotta. Now, Jake LaMotta was not a great boxer, but he has a very peculiar, he was suffering with a very peculiar mental disorder. He doesn't like to beat someone, he likes to get beaten up. Usko maar khana bahut pasand tha. So in the ring, he gets beaten up जब खुद पूरा खून से लथपथ नहीं हो जाता था ना, तब तक वो खुद मार खाता था. He used to love get beaten up. And that was, and lot of psychologists and psychotherapists and psychiatrists have found out that he's suffering with, he's trying to fight with his inner demon. So by getting beaten up, he's trying to kill his inner demon, right? And he was fascinated about this story. He said, you know what, I want to play the role of Jake LaMotta. And then the movie came, Raging Bull. And it was Robert De Niro's first movie, and he got the Academy Award, the Oscars, for the best actor in Raging Bull. And that's where his career started, with an Oscars. The point of the matter is, he chased the same dream, but he did not wait for other people to create an opportunity for him. He generated opportunity for himself. As an innovator, sometimes adaptability of whatever you are thinking could be a little harder than the traditional. But it's your duty to generate an opportunity. So be the generator. Don't wait for the world to give you an opportunity, or don't wait for the world to give you an approval that, you know what, this is good. You have to generate an opportunity for yourself. Point number 2 is lifelong learning. I studied, I went to school, I went to college, and that's it for me. I started working. But today we are living in the time that the world is as university, and every day is. So don't stop yourself any longer and restrict yourself to the field that you have chosen. Pick up different field. Go explore. Even if you are a commerce background, go pick up the science book, start coding, go talk to doctors, go talk to lawyers. Even if you are a technology field, go and explore finance, go and explore psychology. Okay. It's all about, as I said, it's all about interconnection now today. The more the field, the diverse the field you connect with each other, every field is connected. And the more you're able to connect seamlessly, you can come up with a better innovation. Fair enough? Okay? And apart from all these things, before I end the session, I want to tell you one key thing. Is set your story right. Set your narrative right, because the narrative you tell to yourself, that builds the future that you want to build it. For example, first of all, our own narration. You know what the most influential story in the world is? Do you know the most influential story in the world? It's the story you tell to yourself. If I tell to myself that, you know what, I'm not good with math, I'm always going to stay away from the wonders of numbers. If I tell myself that I'm just not a tech guy, I'll always stop myself exploring the wonders of digital technologies or digital era. So first, now just imagine, flip this narrative that I want to explore this tech. Okay? So it's first of all, it's the story you tell to yourself. That's the first step of changing the future. Step number 2, evolve yourself as a hero. Now, if you think about the stories, every movie has this one plot, right? That there is a hero, there is a heroine. He faces the challenge, the world falls apart from them, then he rises stronger and wiser, and the movie ends, isn't it? Very similarly, in your innovation journey, it's going to be the same thing, and you are the hero of the future you build for yourself. The problem will come, the dragons will come in your story in the form of all the challenges. It's all it takes to rise and fight it. And finally is the narrative you build for the community. It's because the world is not restricted to yourself anymore. It's how you take people together and create and build a collective story. Okay? So this is how you navigate the change. Thank you very much. I hope it was useful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a wonderful session. When you talked about simple innovations that have led to the complex technologies that we have today, that was something that literally took us back when you talked about flip phones. I myself I didn't have a flip phone, but I had a Nokia, and I still love the phone. Innovations that were actually solutions. And when they evolve, they always are the better fruit for our future generations. They would be the one to reap the benefits. I think that should be the mindset of all of us over here. And when you took the whole conversation from a wheel to self-driving cars, I think that just sets the spectrum from how much humans have evolved from the Stone Age up till now. A huge round of applause, please. And now, as we have had photographs after every session, we have a special photograph because we have Temi with Rohan sir and me as well.